Glad to see you back from lunch. And today we're speaking about a little bit about ENISA. What are we doing? How are we doing it? And I will show you what we have done in the area of cloud security during the years. I will talk about the two new reports that are coming in the area of, again, of cloud security from ENISA. And then we have some summary where we speak about how we help you and how you can help us in our work. So a little bit about ENISA. ENISA is not an operational body. So we help the EU member states and the European Union in understanding security and harmonizing information security regulations and also cyber exercises. As you will see, these are the three main areas that we work, and one of the first area that we work is cyber exercises. So what we do is we work with the CERT teams of the European member states, and we conduct trainings. We provide trainings to them also, but we also do cyber exercises, and this year. And we are preparing for a cyber exercise which will start next year. The next field that we work is policy implementation, and this is where we have the mandate, let's say, from different articles being introduced by European Union, where we help different sectors. For instance, we work in the telecom sector under Article 13A, where ENISA has been addressed to collect all the incidents, the major incidents which are happening in the telecom sector, and provide reports which are then taken into account by the European Union, the European Commission, and the telecom regulators in order to identify major issues within the European Union and then act on it. And then the third area that we work is we conduct studies through which we identify and raise issues in the European level in order to be acted upon. So if we identify issue, then maybe the European Commission or the European regulators might decide to do something. But ENISA does not hold the right to produce regulation. We only identify issues, cybersecurity issues, and we raise them in the European Union level. So let's talk a little bit about cloud computing. So cloud computing is considered to be some sort of outsourcing. Most of our European Union member states consider this as an outsourcing activity. But also this is something which is very interesting for the private companies, because they could use it as a business model and gain benefits from it. Due to sharing processing powers, sharing resources, and with this they reduce costs and achieve better operational stability. So here are some of the cloud opportunities that we have identified, and I think most of you or probably all of you know about them. So one of them is easier deployment of new services. Previously we need to buy servers, you have procurement, you have to wait, install things, configure them. Now you already have this ready, so you just go to your cloud provider and say, I need this specification, and in a matter of minutes you have them. Also, there is another thing which is we see as an opportunity in the information security. This is better patch management. Before, we had to wait, we had to test and see if these patches are okay, and we needed to find a time frame where it was not critical that we install patches and reboot servers if you need it or not, and then hope that it is working. Now with the cloud, it's very easy. You can have several servers being used and then the other ones being patched. You don't have to have downtime. Another thing is high resiliency. This comes out of the nature of the cloud computing. So you have multiple data centers which are connected, and this gives you high resiliency, because if you have a failure, let's say in one of the data centers, then you can provide the service through the other one or multiple centers. But also there are some cloud challenges. And some of them are, these are just some of them, not all of them, but what we think are, let's say, key challenges according to us. Isolation failures, when we're speaking about cloud customers being able to influence, this is very interesting topic, the processing power on others, let's say, cloud customers, or in some cases have even access to their data. Anyone heard about in the, I think, previous 2 weeks about the Amazon cloud being able to extract the personal encryption keys for different member states, not member states, different clients. So the EC2 Amazon cloud had this issue like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we know cloud is here for many years now. So another thing that we have identified is data protection. Of course, we have different data protection laws, and I think one of our colleagues in the different sessions before mentioned this, that there is new regulation coming, but until then, we have 28 different data protection rules in our European Union. And it's very difficult to have one company working in one member state, let's say in Latvia, and have a data center in Finland or Estonia or whoever knows. It could be anywhere. So the other one is a loss of governance, where due to the nature of the cloud, we provide the cloud service provider with some abilities to operate on our data. So we need to be sure that this data has been kept secure, and that we are in control of this data. So how does ENISA identifies these risks? We work with the communities, and we work with the private sector, we work with the regulators in given sector, and we work with the European agency which are related to the sector. For instance, if we're speaking about telecom, we are working with the national regulators in the telecom sector. If we're speaking about finance, we're working with the national financial supervisory bodies and with the EU bodies, which may be, let's say, DG FISMA, which is for financial institutions, the European Banking Authority, and we work with them to identify issues, and we bring them together to identify issues and to harmonize them, because our idea is that the European Union should have a similar level, let's say, of understanding about the information security. And in some cases we have differences. And our idea is to help the member states achieve a similar level of understanding of information security. Now, I will talk a little bit about our studies that we have published before. I'm going to go a little bit quicker because we don't have much time, but I will stop on some of them which I think are very interesting for you. And all of these publications are publicly available. They're accessible to everyone. And we have tools which are done with some of the studies that you could use them. Okay, so in 2009 we identified that cloud is something that is very interesting. So we conducted this study and identified risks with the cloud. What are the risks that you have? How is the data stored? What you have to do in order to protect it, and this was done in 2009. In 2012 we updated this, and it's still valid. most of the risks that we identified are still valid, and you can find them there. The recent one is Security Guide for Small and Medium Enterprises, is where you can go, and I think I have it in the next slide. And this is a guide for companies to use cloud, to choose cloud service provider. And we also we have identified the security opportunities, the security risks for that should matter to you, let's say, and we have created a cheat sheet with security questions. But we also have created an online tool where you can go. It is free, you don't have to pay. You go and select which security risks are important to you when you're choosing a cloud service provider, and this tool will generate for you the questions that you should be asking, and you can compare them if you have multiple cloud service provider and tell them, look, I want this, your answers are this, and I think for me this is the right cloud service provider. Now we have also worked with the government cloud. Now government is a little bit tricky because generally they're not the same as private companies. You have legacy systems there, and you provide services to the citizens, but you also have communication between governments where you provide different services. Like for instance, when you cross your border, they check if your car has been stolen. So this is checked in the all EU member states, and it's done in the cloud. I mean, this information is very sensitive, and these are the cloud reports that we have done during the years. The latest one is the procurement. This is good for agencies as well, small government agencies which are going to use cloud. How are they going to procure it? What are the steps in order to use securely cloud? Also, another very interesting point, critical clouds. What does this mean? This means that more and more sectors are using cloud now. We have telecoms, we have finance, we have energy, we have medical, even e-health is using cloud. So what happens if these sectors all use the same cloud? When does this cloud become systematic, as they call it? This is being taken from the systematic banks, from the financial sector. But this is very interesting. What happens if this cloud service provider for some reason falls? Then you don't have communication, you don't have energy, you cannot pay your bills, your cards are not working. What is going on? Another thing that we have touched upon, and it's very interesting, is incident reporting in the cloud. So this relates to the issue that in some cases your cloud will not be in your country. So this means that different rules are applied to the cloud service providers, and if there is an incident, how is an incident reported? Is it reported to the national body and then the national body notifies you? When are you notified? Is it only when it affects you, or if there is just a single incident in the cloud? This is another area that we have provided information, and this is for cloud certifications. There are different cloud certifications, cloud standards that exist. This has been requested by the European Commission in order for companies to better understand what is behind the cloud certification. So what we have created, a tool. I don't have a link here. No, I think the link is down. We have a tool where you can go and say, my cloud provider has this and this and this cloud certification. What stands behind them? How can I compare them? Because you have this cloud provider has this cloud certification and the other cloud provider has the other cloud certification. How can you compare them and see what they cover and what are the security issues behind them? So we have a tool where we have collected from 12 so far member states the certification schemes, and we have created a mapping between them where you can go and say, I am interested in this, and you will see that this is covered by this and this certification. And you can go to your cloud provider and say, do you have this certification? Okay, this covers this that I'm looking for. So other areas where we work for cloud. So the new reports that are coming is cloud computing in the finance sector. where we specifically vertically talk about what are the issues for financial institutions. Cloud supporting healthcare system and services, this is something that is going to come as well. We talk about health organization using cloud. What are the issues behind it? A little bit more about the latest report that we are going to publish about using cloud in the financial institutions. So we want to understand what are the issues, and we have already identified some of them. Is that, again, the regulations within the European Union member states are not equal, let's say. They have different requirements, they need to be addressed, but we also have identified that the cloud providers sometimes do not give enough information and enough control over the financial institution in order to progress. This is another study that is coming out from ENISA. It's about big data security challenges. We have identified that big data is now being used more and more, but we have also seen that there are security issues with it that is coming from different because of the nature of the let's say of the big data. We have identified some issues. One of them being very interesting is that most companies use, let's say, anonymized data to do big data applications and big data analysis, where they found different cross-cuttings, different business model that they could exploit in order for them to get more benefit. But we have also identified one issue is that if they use anonymized data, due to the nature of different sources being able to be used in this analysis, they could de-anonymize the information there. So even though they're using data that has been anonymized already from different sources, using another sources from, let's say, social network which is publicly available, or even media, they could de-anonymize information and find data which is related to specific individual, which is very interesting and is something to be considered. So with this, this is my last slide. So ENISA is here to help identify issues and raise them in order to be taken action upon. This is what we do for the European Union, but where you can help us on this is that for our studies we work with the private sector, we work with the public sector. When you identify issue what is related to cyber security, do let us know so we can raise it and talk with the European institutions or the regulators in order this to be addressed. And with this, I think I'm done. If you have any questions, please.
Are there any questions? It's a really interesting way of helping countries work together and tackle problems.
This is how we do it. And
where would you say the biggest challenges are in different regions?
Well, yes, the challenges are that it's difficult to bring the communities together. Sometimes due to cultural or different issues, they would not talk to each other. So, but this is also, I think, our challenge, that we help them identify, and when we talk with different, let's say, regulators or different member states, this is our mandate, is to get them to understand at the same level the requirements for cybersecurity. If we do that, I think we will have better security, let's say, throughout the European Union.
Which language is most often used?
Is it as you know, it is, no. When we're speaking with the member states, it's more high level. Technology comes down to the level where we speak about implementation. We have implementation of incident reporting, major incidents reporting in telecom sector where we work, and we work with the In the other sector, in trusted service providers, where under another regulation. So there we go to the technical level, and we talk with then we talk with the technical people. But where in the most, let's say, in the higher level, where we talk with the member states, the trends and the biggest issues are something which is easily, let's say, communicated. In terms of telecom, let's say, because this is the most recent that we have, is we have identified security issues, but the major issue with telecom providers is not security or DDoS, it is cable cuts. So it's something which is very interesting, and when we receive these major incidents on our side, and we do analysis, and then we provide it to the European member states and to the European Commission, we tell them, look, information security is there, yes, we need to act upon, but there are major other issues that needs to be addressed before getting into into this. So, but this is one of the challenges that
the main thing, it seems like everyone's trying to work together.
I think, yeah, this is the major idea. If we are able to work together and understand and speak the same language, let's say, then it is going to be much easier.
Any questions?
Talking about the governmental organizations in the cloud, do you have any trends or statistics? Are they using cloud services a lot in some countries, or
a lot? Well, this we don't have statistics. I would say more advanced countries, they started to use already. Yes, but in the government it's difficult because the legacy systems are not very easy to be transposed somehow in the cloud. But I think most of the, let's say, the new services that are being provided by the governments are going into this direction.
One more question. Microsoft Azure, is it like any, let's say, major problems right now, for example, for Latvian legislation?
Well, yes, this is a very interesting topic. I cannot give you specific on the government. I can tell you about the finance, because this is what we're issuing right now, is that the regulators in the financial sector, maybe it relates to the government as well, they have identified that the information, if the information is properly secured, the risk assessment has been done properly, they don't care where it is, where it's stored. As long as there is proper security measures and proper risk assessment. So there are some member states which does not allow yet the information to be out of the country, but I think this will change.
Okay. Well, with that, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And